Well, the builder stocks moved higher on the hope that interest rates will come down, but housing starts really took a dive in November, falling to the slowest pace in over a year, according to the U.S. Census. And this came after a report yesterday that home builder sentiment fell to the lowest level in more than 3 years. The only bright spot in the numbers, multifamily housing starts jumped over 20% annually, showing still very strong demand for rental housing as home sales weaken further. Now, new home sales for November are not out yet, but one top analyst who surveys over 400 builders says the writing is already on the wall.
I definitely think we're in a correction. Sales, according to us, our survey last month were down 19% year over year. Now that's off a tough comp. I would call that a correction.
Now, sales were high last year because mortgage rates were low, a full percentage point lower than they are today. Home prices still quite high, although the gains are shrinking. While builders are now beginning to cut prices, they can't cut much, especially because they're largely building in the move-up market and not at the entry level. Back to you guys.
Diana, stay with us because we wanted to get your take on Ylan's story. One boost potentially to the housing market could be coming next year. Ylan joins us with the details from the Democrats, Ylan.
That's right, Sarah. Yeah, get ready for some battle. The so-called SALT cap has been extremely unpopular in blue states. This is a provision that limits household deductions for state and local income and property taxes to $10,000. Now, some of the states that have gotten slammed by this are California, New York, New Jersey. You guys know that very well. These are high tax states, but they also happen to be places where Democrats picked up a lot of seats during the midterm elections. And part of that was driven by the discontent over these caps. So Democrats want to make sure that they address that in the new Congress. The lawmaker leading the charge is Bill Pascrell of New Jersey. He told us that he is working on legislation now that he plans to introduce in the new year. In a statement, he told us that this law targets middle-class citizens in my state, stealing their state and local tax deductions to pay off corporate executives. We must make the tax code work for all Americans and stop targeting blue states. Now, the big problem here is that capping the deduction is a huge moneymaker for the government. It's estimated to raise $829 billion over the next decade. So, guys, Democrats have blamed Republicans for blowing a hole in the deficit with their tax plan, not really sure how they're going to justify finding a way to pay for their own proposal. Back over to you.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a tough sell, blowing an even bigger hole in the deficit as a result of the tax cuts. Diana, how much of an impact is SALT having on some of these housing markets, particularly New York, New Jersey, California? Anecdotally, we hear a lot about it around here.
Yeah, you hear it from anyone you talk to in New York and in California. Look, we've already seen sales in both the Bay Area and in Southern California fall to the slowest pace in more than 7 years. If you look at New York City, Manhattan specifically, where SALT is really having an impact, you're seeing not only sales slow, but prices come down pretty dramatically, especially on the luxury end where they're hit hardest, down over 10%. I was just talking to somebody last weekend who said they have a gorgeous apartment on the Upper East Side, a co-op. They don't want to sell because they're afraid it's going to actually get worse when people actually start filing their taxes and realize how much this change in the tax code really hurts them.